Hello and welcome to Korean with Val. In this lesson, we're going to talk about Korean nouns. Last time, I said that Korean nouns are relatively easy. But why did I say that? I said that because they have no articles, no plurals, no gender, and no cases. Today, I'll go into a bit more detail. Let's start with articles. Our example sentence, 책 샀어요, has only two words. 책 means book, 샀어요 is the past form of the verb 사다, to buy. Okay? So we can translate this sentence as I bought a book, some book. We don't know which book, a book. But it can also be translated as I bought the book, some book the listener knows about, some specific book. Now, how do we know if the translation should be a book or the book? The plain answer is that we don't know. In Korean, you would have to see the context. You would have to rely on the context. Oftentimes in Korean, context is everything. Still, if you want the listener to know that you're speaking about some particular book, there is something that you can do. You can add ku, which means that, in front of your noun. Like, 그 책 샀어요. It is not the same as articles, but it is similar. Next, we're going to use the same sentence to talk about plurals. Our sentence, 책 샀어요, can be translated in two ways. It can be both I bought a book, one book, or I bought books, several books. Again, you have to rely on context to understand the sentence fully. Still, there are some ways you can make sure your listener knows that you are talking about more books. There are two ways. You can use a precise number with a counter, or you can use the plural particle dur. If you want to use the precise number, don't forget the counter. The counter has to match your noun. Here, the counter for books is gwon. And if we want to say I bought two books, you will say 책 두 권 샀어요. So 책 is book, 두 is two, gwon is a counter for books, and 샀어요 is bought. Okay? The other thing you can do is add 둘, so you can say 책 둘 샀어요. I bought books. Now here you can't give a number. So you either have a number, a precise number, or you just have this indicator of plural, but you can't put a number. 둘 is also more often used with people rather than just objects. It's possible, but it's more often used for words like 사람, so 사람들, people, or 친구들, friends, things like that. Again, Korean nouns don't have plural, so you don't have to use any of these, only if you want to. Alright? The next two sections are a bit more grammatical. The first one, grammatical gender, has no connection to gender in real life. It is just a way to classify nouns, to put them into groups. The genders are usually masculine, feminine, and neutral. Sometimes they do reflect gender in the world. Let's say in most languages, the word for sister will be feminine and the word for brother will be masculine, but that's not always the case. And for most words, it is completely arbitrary. It makes no sense. You just have to learn which gender the word is, the noun is, when you learn the noun. Okay? So for example, the word book in English has no gender. In German, the word Buch is neutral, and in Croatian, the word knjiga is feminine. It makes no sense. Luckily for us, Korean does not have any gender. So when you learn a new noun, you can just learn it as it is. You don't need to learn this additional information. The last section for today is grammatical case. What grammatical case does is it tells us the role, the function of the word in the sentence. Its relation to all the other words in the sentence. This can work for nouns, for pronouns even for adjectives. And some languages have this system and some don't. If a language has this system, it usually means that the nouns change a lot. They change extensively. They have 8 forms, 10 forms, 14 forms, and so on. For example, in English, nouns don't have any cases, or barely any. you can see cases in English in pronouns more often, like I or me. In German, you have 4 cases, so that's already a bit more complicated. In my native language, Croatian, you have 7 cases. Remember, this is both for singular and plural, so 14 forms. Okay, some are the same, but a lot of forms to learn. So luckily, Korean has no cases. There is just one form of the noun. When you want to learn the noun for book, you learn check, and that's it. Alright? I hope this lesson made it a bit more easier for you to see why Korean relies so much on verbs and particles and other stuff. It's simply because their nouns are very simple. Their nouns don't change, they don't tell us a lot. That's it. That's all it's about. So I hope this lesson helped you realize that, helped you maybe get some relief, like, whew, Korean is not that difficult. The nouns are really, really easy. Okay? Next time, we are going to talk about a group of nouns that is a bit more complex. They are barely nouns, but they are important. Okay. Thank you very much for joining me today. See you next time.